future impacts from storms.
For more info, contact Planning and Zoning at 985-722-4473.
Good evening. Welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Monday, October 18th, 2021 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance from Reverend Earlene Guidry.
Good evening. God of the universe, at times you feel so far away from us, but we know, Lord, that you are as close to us as the breath we breathe. As our St. Charles Parish Council meets tonight to discuss the issues and vote on the issues at hand, I ask that you give each of them wisdom and guidance as they make decisions that will continue to grow and develop our parish, that all communities and industries will benefit from their decisions. We thank you for the recovering program from the devastation of Hurricane Ida. We ask your blessing on all volunteers who helped us through the needs of furnishing food, ice, tarps, and helping those in need of a helping hand in recovering from their debris. We ask your blessing on those companies' employees who have left their families for almost 6 weeks and have come to help us in our recovery stage in our parish. We pray, Holy Father, for patience with each other, and patience with those in need, and the help of such a frustrating time that we become frustrated because we just don't know where to turn. We pray that through patience with each other, we can calm our lives and our situation and work together for recovery. Oh God, walk with us as we walk together, hand in hand, through the phase of recovery of our communities and our surrounding connecting parishes as we walk this journey together. Holy Father, we give you thanks, praise, and honor for being the God who loves us and cares for us and leads us to a brighter future. So we pray and ask your blessing on all those here tonight making decisions and voting and presenting programs that may benefit all of us, that will make us a better place to live, a community that is caring for its people and our surrounding parishes to make our lives better and make this a better place to live. In your holy name we pray. All God's people said, Amen. Amen. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Guidry. Approval of minutes. Regular meeting, August 23rd, 2021. A motion and a second is needed to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of August 23rd, 2021. I have a motion by Ms. Fonseca and a second by Mr. Fisher. Please cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. Special business proclamations, canvas returns. Item number 2021-0253, proclamation, George Prince Ferry Memorial Day. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Proclamation. Whereas on October 20th, 1976, the worst ferry disaster in the history of the United States occurred on the Mississippi River in St. Charles Parish. And whereas just after 6 a.m. at 40 degrees Fahrenheit, dark with no fog, the 50-year-old George Prince ferry with 95 passengers aboard was making its passageway from across the Mississippi River from Destrehan to Luling. And whereas the Frosta, a 22,000-ton Norwegian tanker, sighted the George Prince dangerously close to the front of its ship's bow and signaled the ferry several times, but it was too late. And whereas less than 2 minutes time had elapsed since the George Prince departed the East Bank dock when it was struck near the middle of the port side by the bow of the Frosta, and whereas 77 lives were lost, including the ferry pilot and 4 of his crew members, and whereas the Hale-Box Memorial Bridge was under construction at the time of the ferry disaster, it was opened in 1983, thus ending the Destrehan-Luling ferry run. And whereas a monument was established at the East Bank Bridge Park on October 17, 2009 to memorialize the deceased and the survivors of the ferry disaster. Whereas the St. Charles Parish President and Parish Council offer the most profound and sincere condolences to the families and friends of those who perished in the disaster on what is the 45th anniversary of this tragedy. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the St. Charles Parish President and Council do hereby proclaim Wednesday, October 20th, 2021, as George Prince Ferry Memorial Day in St. Charles Parish, and encourage all residents to participate in commemorating the 45th anniversary of the 77 lives and the 18 survivors in what is the most tragic day in St. Charles Parish's history. There will be no one here to accept, but this will go into the council record.
Item number 2021-0254, proclamation, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Proclamation, whereas all people have the right to live in a safe, accepting, and peaceable environment, and whereas domestic violence is a serious crime that affects people of all races, ages, gender, and income levels. It consists of psychological, physical, sexual, and emotional abuse to gain and maintain power and control. And whereas we believe that all people thrive more fully in an atmosphere free of fear and violence, however, there exists in our society a system of power, control, and domination which surpasses these rights and perpetrates violence without regards to age, gender, race, and religion. And whereas Metro Centers for Community Advocacy, Metro, and a Safe Space of St. Charles Domestic Violence Advocacy and Support Program are nonprofit organizations that provide free and confidential services to women, children, teens, and male survivors in the area of St. Charles, St. John, and St. James parishes. And whereas these organizations help to enable families to regain their physical and emotional strength with the goal to provide assistance to anyone seeking help, and this is accomplished through state, federal, and local grant monies, as well as tax-deductible monetary and material donations. And whereas St. Charles Parish commends Metro and a Safe Space of St. Charles for providing free and confidential services to survivors of trauma, for when survivors become stronger, the community is strengthened. To break the cycle of violence and aid survivors of domestic violence is the mission of both organizations and is accomplished through advocacy, intervention, empowerment, and transformation. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby, in accordance with the National Domestic Violence Organization guidelines, declare the month of October 2021 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in St. Charles Parish. Be it further resolved that we, the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby urge everyone to wear purple ribbons and plant a windmill garden in the month of October to show support to all victims of violence and to show support to all law enforcement officers, district attorneys, and judges who dedicate themselves to finding a solution in this growing problem. Here to accept will be Darlene Santana and Miss Shirley Sims.
On behalf of a Safe Space of St. Charles, our staff and board members, I just want to thank you for this proclamation again this year. This year has been a tremendous year for domestic violence with the COVID-19 and then what Ida has done for our community. I want to commend our president. A Safe Space of St. Charles was without cable, telephone, internet for a whole month. Our victims were not able to call in to us. We registered at the St. Charles Sheriff Department with our cell numbers to let them know that they could call our cell number. But again, we have clients that don't even call the police, they call us first. And I was just sitting in my house that morning, and I was trying to figure out what to do. I had made many calls to Cox, wasn't getting anything going or whatever. And I remember Matt Jules gave me his cell phone number. And he told me, if you ever need anything, Miss Sims, call me. So I'm sitting at the dining room table and I'm thinking, but he's so busy. You know one thing? I'm going to call him. I texted him first. I didn't get a response. I called him and I told him what was the problem. I called Matt Jules at, I want to say it was 9:30 that morning. At 10 o'clock, Mr. Jules, Cox Cable was calling me on the cell phone. I don't know who you spoke to, but they called me. By 1 o'clock, I had everything connected that day. So we were back in operation. So I just want to thank you for taking time for your busy schedule to answer a 911 call that we had that was very important. Again, thank the council members and everyone that support us. Again, this has been a tremendous year for us, but we are surviving by the grace of God. God bless you.
Well, I too, I'm Darlene Santana, the Executive Director for Metro Centers for Community Advocacy. And I just ditto exactly what Ms. Sims just said. It's been a tumultuous year for us, well, 2 years, with COVID and then with the hurricane. Although we lost our services, our phones are set up so that if we lose power, our crisis line rolls over to our cell phones. So myself and our program director have been answering the calls throughout the storm. So our crisis line never stopped. However, unfortunately, very sadly, we lost the roof off of our building on Apple Street, which is our office for St. Charles Parish. Right now, it's being gutted, and we're trying to get the roof back on it so that we can rebuild the inside of that building so that we can continue providing services. We are providing services for St. Charles and St. John because we lost the St. John building too on Belterre. The roof was blown off. We are providing services at our Jefferson Highway main location where our emergency shelter is located via telephone, and all of our advocates are back. None of our staff lost their homes or anything. They're all back and providing services via telephone, in-person counseling in a safe space, or they can come, if the clients have transportation, they can come to our offices. We do have 3 offices that survived the storm. I have to commend Parish President Jewell, because not only do I work here, I live here in Norco, and when I'm dealing with my home in 2 buildings, I can't imagine what you have to deal with a whole parish. It's unbelievable, the struggles and the frustrations. However, there's good side too. Red Cross has been out in the parish every day providing lunch and dinner, and it's amazing. The church community, what they're providing. So the support is there. The debris is being picked up. Our building has a company that comes and hauls off all of the stuff out of our building every day. I'm glad, because it would break my heart to see it on the curb, like I see so many people's belongings on the curb. But it's been rough. What I need out here is, since Ms. Sims had some luck, we would like some donated office space so that our advocate can meet with clients out here who don't have transportation. 1 office, 1 day a week for 2 people, 2 chairs and a table, or 2 chairs and a desk would be great, so that we can continue providing the services here in the parish for them, so that they have a safe place to meet. But thank you all so much for continually supporting us, recognizing us. Parish President Jewell, Red Cross, St. Charles United Way, we couldn't be here doing what we do without y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Item number 2021-0255, proclamation. United Way Month in St. Charles Parish. Ms. Perrier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Proclamation. Whereas United Way of St. Charles was established in November of 1955 to unite the entire community in a system of volunteers, donors, and agencies for the purpose of improving the quality and quantity of human care services for the citizens of St. Charles Parish. And whereas the United Way of St. Charles serves as a critical link which unites all community participants to build a stronger, healthier, more compassionate St. Charles Parish. Whereas business, industry, government, and hundreds of volunteers come together each year in St. Charles Parish to participate in raising the needed financial resources through the annual United Way campaign. Whereas thousands in St. Charles Parish contribute financial resources that are used to improve the lives of tens of thousands of people by providing funding for basic and emergency needs, health and rehabilitation, financial stability, counseling, education, recreation, and youth and senior services. And whereas the St. Charles Parish Council and Parish President wish to join the great people of St. Charles Parish who care about continuing to improve the quality of life for all in our community by supporting the 2021 annual campaign of the United Way of St. Charles. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2021 as United Way of St. Charles Month. Be it further resolved that the United Way flag shall fly on the grounds of the parish courthouse for this period as a constant reminder to the great citizens of our parish of this important cause. You have the power to change the world around you. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. And although this is an annual proclamation, the timing could not be more appropriate. We have our all-star from the United Way here, Miss Tamara Platzmeyer, to come on up and accept this. She did the job of 100 men after Hurricane Ida and jumped into action right away. So.
I'll just be very brief. I want to thank all of the council members and the parish president. Without all of your support and your help from parish government, United Way wouldn't be able to do what we do and serve as many people as we're able to serve. So it really takes a village to help everyone that we do help. And I just want y'all to know that it's very much appreciated, the support that you give to us to be able to provide the support to the residents of St. Charles Parish. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Item number 2021-0256, proclamation, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month in St. Charles Parish. Proclamation, whereas except for skin cancers, breast cancer is the most common type of cancer among women in the United States and is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths among American women. And whereas during the annual National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we recognize the progress being made toward a cure for this disease, which robs so many women of their health and in too many cases, their lives. And whereas National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, NBCAM, educates women about the importance of early detection of breast cancer. And since their inception, mammography has been doubled and breast cancer death rates have declined. But many women still do not utilize mammograms at regular intervals. And whereas the National Cancer Institute estimates 284,200 American women will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year, but millions of women are surviving the disease thanks in part to early detection and improvements in treatment. And whereas regular mammography screenings and monthly self-examinations remain the most effective ways of identifying breast cancer in its earliest and most treatable stages, long before physical symptoms can be seen or felt. And whereas to lower the chances of breast cancer, we must increase awareness of its risk factors and possible causes. And whereas research is one of the best weapons and much of the funding for research and a cure for breast cancer is directed towards clinical trials dedicated to finding new and more effective ways in preventing, detecting, and treating breast cancer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and Parish President, do hereby proclaim October 2021 as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month in St. Charles Parish. Be it further resolved that all women and their families in St. Charles Parish is urged to get the facts about breast cancer and mammography. Be it further resolved that on Thursday, October 21st, 2021, St. Charles Parish will have a Paint the Parish Pink Day and urge all citizens to show their support for all those who have been affected by cancer by commemorating this day by wearing the color pink. We have to receive this of Mr. Keith Dugas and Miss Erica Morin will accept.
Well, thank you for your continued support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We do have 2 sites now, well, I think last year it was open also, that do mammograms here at the hospital and across the river at the Plantation View Medical Office Building. So it's a good time to remind people to get back on schedule with COVID. A lot of people did miss their appointments, so everything is back up and running. So it's as easy as calling your doctor and calling the hospital to make your appointment. So thank you.
Thank you. Reports, finance, and administrative activities. Item number 2021-0261, Department of Public Works. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Council Chair. Thank you, Council members. Parish President Jewell, thank you for the opportunity to present this short video on what Public Works has done more recently rather than what we normally do.
Of Public Works works diligently to ensure streets, drainage, and critical infrastructure are maintained and in the highest working order. The department consists of an invaluable group of individuals who work together to ensure a dynamic quality of life for our residents. In 2021, the department set forth to make numerous enhancements. Public Works revamped the organizational structure of those who maintain and operate the parish pump stations into 3 categories: pump operations, pump maintenance, and automation. This 3-pronged approach allows for stronger cooperation between the group and focuses on preventative maintenance to better fulfill the needs of the parish. The Department of Public Works works diligently to ensure streets, drainage, and critical infrastructure are maintained and in the highest working order. The department consists of an invaluable group of individuals who work together to ensure a dynamic quality of life for our residents. In 2021, the department set forth to make numerous enhancements. Public Works revamped the organizational structure of those who maintain and operate the parish pump stations into 3 categories: pump operations, pump maintenance, and automation. This 3-pronged approach allows for stronger cooperation between the group and focuses on preventative maintenance to better fulfill the needs of the parish. The pump operations team is responsible for day-to-day operations of the pump stations, cleaning and organization, weekly checks, and equipment failure reporting. The pump maintenance teams maintains pumps, generators, engines, and electrical systems associated with the pump stations. This group combines pump maintenance capabilities with electricians. They are also responsible for diagnosing problems troubleshooting, routine maintenance, and ensuring all systems are maintained to the manufacturer's recommendation. The automation team implements and enhances the systems that remotely control pump stations. This team monitors pump station operations during a storm event. The parish currently has SCADA automation on 32 of 57 pump stations, and this team is responsible for ensuring the automatic controls on the pumps work properly. They are also responsible for collaborating with wastewater while the department upgrades and improves its automated system for lift stations. The Public Works Department also implemented the asset management system by converting all road crew work orders from paper to electronic. Our superintendents and area foremen now have tablets to track work orders and give specific information about tasks at hand. By increasing the use of our asset management system, we have better tracked work orders, improved efficiency in processing work orders, resourcefully organized daily work, and are now able to track work order records for storm events. The system also establishes priorities of each work order and allows for better coordination and communication with residents' requests as well as council requests. Nearly 2 months ago, Hurricane Ida presented numerous challenges and learning opportunities for the Department of Public Works. Prior to the storm, Public Works worked with the EOC staff to update its severe weather plan, which outlines roles and responsibilities of each group within the Department of Public Works organization. Hurricane Ida gave the department an opportunity to test the procedures laid out in the plan. Having this plan in place proved to be helpful, and lessons learned during the event will be discussed during the action follow-up meetings to even further improve upon the plan. Due to the severity of Hurricane Ida, our team and systems were tested. Most systems responded well. However, there are several areas that we will make improvements for the future. Public Works crews spent 3 days before landfall setting up HESCO baskets along Bayou des Allemands. While Public Works filled these gaps with sandbags, the storm exposed weaknesses in the timber bulkhead and the use of sandbags in the system. The days following the storm, Public Works crews and the National Guard worked to flood fight and bolster protection in des Allemands. There was significant damage to the timber bulkhead, and there is evidence of erosion behind the bulkhead. We learned the HESCO baskets performed well. The sandbags did not perform well. The bulkhead would not have held back water from the storm on its own. The bulkhead could fail in a future storm due to the damage from Ida. And the damage behind the bulkhead is extensive and threatens the roadway. With this information, the administration organized a field visit to the bulkhead with representatives of CPRA, NRCS, and FEMA to review the damage. As a result, a formal request for assistance has been submitted to FEMA for a temporary sheet pile wall in the affected area of the bulkhead. Tiger dams and HESCO baskets were placed along Badeau Lane and a part of Bayou Gauche Road. These tiger dams are filled with water and anchored in place. During the storm, they were punctured and deflated. After the storm, Public Works crews and the National Guard stacked sandbags in the area. In the future, HESCO baskets will be used as the primary form of flood defense in this area. 3 pump stations with water-cooled bearings shut down when the parish water system lost pressure. One had a backup system, the other 2 did not. The one with the backup system failed when the power went out, disabling the transfer switch. These deficiencies are being corrected. 1 pump station shut down after the power outage. After switching from Entergy power to the backup generator, all 4 pumps restarted and overloaded the generator, which subsequently shut down. The failure is being studied, and safeguards will be put in place as a future preventative measure. Other stations set up this way will be modified in the future. There was another pump station that shut down for an unidentified reason. We are working to thoroughly investigate the failure and put safeguards in place to avoid a future failure at this station. Communications failures presented a unique challenge to the recovery effort. To assist with communications during times like Hurricane Ida, Public Works has radios that can be used. However, cross-parish communications could not be sustained because the repeater that boosts the signal for parish-wide reception was located in St. John Parish and went down. We are working to relocate the repeater back into St. Charles Parish and looking into using mobile repeaters that can be deployed in an extreme event like Hurricane Ida. During the storm, our SCADA system communications were rendered inoperable. Public Works uses PEP waves to communicate with the pump stations, which allows us to operate the pump systems and gather data. While the PEP waves and pump stations continuously worked, the system at the EOC was not able to communicate with SCADA due to down communications. EOC staff, IT, and Public Works are working together to correct this issue. Prior to the storm, Public Works established a system of 20 weather stations throughout the parish. These stations gather data on weather events, including rainfall rates and totals, temperatures, and wind speeds. During Hurricane Ida, wind speeds were not accurate from the stations. This discrepancy is being investigated and improvements will be made. Lastly, several options were assessed during the lead up to the storm regarding temporary housing for the Public Works staff. As the intensity of the storm increased, options became limited as the yards were not equipped for sheltering everyone in place safely, and the community center was used as a shelter of last resorts for residents. Our Public Works crews were eventually sheltered at the courthouse as it was determined to be the safest place for them to be throughout the duration of the storm. After the storm passed, most employees returned to their respective yards for shelter. It is important for our employees to be safe during these events, and that would include constructing bunkers on both sides of the river that provide sleep quarters, food storage, cooking facilities, showers, restrooms, and common areas. We will also work to meet in the near future to assess issues that could be further improved upon and create action plans. The following are just some examples of what will be addressed. Better coordination with Entergy in the immediate aftermath of the storm. Providing training on radios and protocol. A pre-storm check is necessary and backup plans must be in place. And pre-storm fuel reserves. Once a more comprehensive list is comprised, a corrective action plan will be developed and added to our severe weather plan, which is housed with us and at the EOC. The Public Works employees came together as a team after the storm and accomplished many and all tasks assigned to them. While many had damage at their own homes, they were the first to help bring the parish back on its feet with no hesitation. Here are some of the numerous examples of their efforts. Immediately following the storm, they worked to clear roadways and open major corridors and neighborhoods using chainsaws and other heavy equipment. They worked to develop a plan to allow parish employees, emergency services, fire, and police to move around the parish. Following the clearing of access routes, they assessed, repaired, and restarted pump stations. They cleared the levee systems in Bayou Gauche and Desalmens of debris and fortified them. The crews inspected and removed debris from all major drainage canals and conveyance systems. They are currently coming behind debris trucks to ensure debris is removed from roadside ditches and do not impede the drainage system. The department worked with administration staff and the wastewater team to develop a fuel intake, storage, and distribution system for fueling more than 200 generators deployed around the parish. In the aftermath of the storm, River Road became very congested due to the pod site managed by the National Guard at the West Bank Bridge Park. Access by Entergy to their facility located at the southern end of Dufresne Parkway was severely hindered. Through coordination with the LDOTD, the parish administration was able to permit construction of a connector road to the I-310 ramp headed toward US 90. Public Works Engineering designed the connector, and Public Works crews constructed the roadway in 3 days. Entergy used this route extensively, and this significantly helped to speed up their response to recovery. Prior to Hurricane Ida, the Department of Public Works had numerous projects underway. And while the status of these projects has been affected, we are still looking to complete these projects at hand. The first is the Master Drainage Plan. Prior to Ida, the first phase study was completed and consisted of Muntz, Norco, New Sarpy, and Ormond on the east bank, and Ama and Hunville 1 and 2 on the west bank. Executive summary reports were being prepared in anticipation of meetings with you, the council, and the public. The following is needed to complete Phase 1. Executive summary reports need to be completed and reviewed by Public Works. These reports were in final review by Public Works prior to the storm. Meetings with the council to review the executive summary need to be scheduled along with public meetings to present the findings. Amendment number 1 was approved at the August 9th council meeting to add the following watersheds into the drainage study: St. Rose, Diane Place, Bar None, Turtle Pond, and Almeda on the east bank, and Mimosa, Willowdale, and all of Luling on the west bank. Administration intended to issue a notice to proceed for the watershed in Phase 2 after the meetings with the Parish Council regarding Phase 1 findings. However, due to the delays in these meetings caused by Hurricane Ida, a notice to proceed was issued on September 16th for Phase 2. Other active project statuses are as follows. The asphalt road maintenance program was nearly complete when Ida struck. Only 4 streets in Bayou Gauche, which had already been milled, remained. Due to damage from the storm, the base material on those 4 streets was damaged. This has now been repaired and new asphalt has been installed. Once the final cost of Phase 1 is determined, Phase 2 will be initiated. The box culverts were reset on Spillway Road prior to Hurricane Ida. Once the work around the box culverts was completed after the storm, the roadway base needed to be installed. This required dry weather so that cement stabilization could be mixed into the base to make the roadway less susceptible to erosion and degradation of the base. This process has been completed, and the contractor is now working on placing the asphalt for the roadway and dressing up the side slope. The 5th Street Drainage Improvement Project in Norco was shut down for about 1 month due to Hurricane Ida. Work on the project has since restarted. We determined the water line will not have to be relocated as it does not interfere with the new drain line. However, the sewer line will need to be relocated, and the contractor is working on moving the line currently. The AMA Pump Station Improvement Project has been re-evaluated and changes have been made to address the concerns raised during the prior bid. The project will be rebid later this year with construction beginning in early 2022. The hydraulic bottleneck near Destrehan Pump Station Number 2 is ready to bid following the approval of the pipelines crossing the canal near the station. Once the approvals are received, the project will be bid with construction starting in early 2022. The West Bank Yard building construction was halted during the storm. No damage to the structure was identified, and the construction has resumed. Hall Mallard Road Phase 1 from Blueberry Hill to Angus Drive is overseen by LDOTD and has federal funding. The LDOTD determined the water and sewer systems need to be replaced. Construction was originally slated to start in the middle of 2022. Due to the storm, the project timeline is being adjusted to allow for the completion of additional tasks associated with the sewer and water replacements. The Department of Public Works has numerous active projects, and while many of these projects were put on hold during the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Ida, as our attention turned to storm recovery, we are now starting to reactivate more of the projects, starting with some of the more critical. While the past year has presented its challenges, our team recognized their efforts and highlighted the following as accomplishments they are most proud of: Hurricane Ida flood protection and the maintenance of pump stations during and after Ida, assisting the Department of Parks and Recreation with the completion of Parquet Park, the work on the Turtle Pond Drainage Project and the Highway 90 Culvert Project, the dredging of the Cypress Lakes ponds, which improved drainage within subdivisions near the pond and allowed the parish to lower elevation of the ponds more quickly ahead of storms. The collaboration between the drainage and engineering departments to complete the Destrehan No. 2 pump station analysis, which resulted in refurbishing and reinstalling the oldest of the 48-inch pumps to increase flow. They are currently working on a second pump. Main canal cleaning and the clearing of the UP Railroad right-of-way in Hahnville. And most importantly, team bonding, working together, learning as a cohesive group, and working as one unit. Thank you, Council and President Jewell, for your continued support of the Department of Public Works.
I'll take any questions that you might have. I know that's a more unique approach, but I thought it would be more appropriate considering what we've been through in the last couple months.
No questions for you, so we'll be moving on. Item number 2021-0244, Parish President's Remarks and Report. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman Belloc. Start with government buildings. Let's see. Really quickly, the courthouse is open from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. The second floor, minus the council chambers, remains closed to the public as renovations are ongoing. At this time, 98% of the roof has been completed, and we should have that last 2% completed within the next week or so. Right now, they're flashing all of the curbs, and they're finishing up the lower deck from the third floor to the roof. Bids are due this Wednesday for the third floor renovations, which is an HVAC renovation on the sheriff's side of the third floor. I just wanted to alert the council that that was ongoing as well. The sheriff's office employees had been relocated prior to this storm. And then we are working with Murray Architects to complete the second floor renovation plans. As you know, that project was supposed to happen in 3 phases, or kind of 3.5 phases. But we are going to work to bid that all out in 1 phase and get the entire second floor done in 1 foul swoop. And that'll be the best working condition for both the judges and for the employees who work inside the courthouse, because it'll shorten the duration and should also save the parish money by not having to remobilize and demobilize several times for the different phases. The Kelowna Community Center should be completed by the end of the week. It did sustain damage from Hurricane Ida, but it also had sustained damage prior to Hurricane Ida on July 20th when we had a pipe burst that flooded the entire center. In planning and zoning, they are working on their usual duties, plus they are now working to help make sure that trailers that are delivered to residents' yards are safe. The trailer program is mostly through the state of Louisiana and FEMA, but once that trailer is put into a resident's yard and the keys are turned over, planning and zoning is just going to come by to make sure that the addresses match, that it's registered with planning and zoning so we can have an account of it, and to just double check to make sure that the sewer is actually connected to the sewer and not the storm drain or not going into the ditch, that the electrical is hooked properly, and just a second set of eyes to make sure that the trailer is safe for the residents. I'm also encouraging our residents to get permits. Please apply if you need to redo your roof or you're doing a renovation in your home. Permits are free right now. The fees have been waived. And this helps our residents ensure that the contractor is doing right by them. Onto waterworks. The regular phone lines and internet are working again. We did have some issues after the internet had came back. We lost it a couple of times, but it is back and working, and it has been a steady connection. So if anyone needs to contact the department via phone, they need to call 985-783-5110. Again, that's 985-783-5110. Flat rate bills have been sent to customers, and I know customers have started to receive them. Our call volume has gone up for some residents who may not have known that a flat rate bill was going out. But those have gone out, and we're working as hard as we can with the debris collection to be able to send out a normal bill as soon as possible. Crews are still catching up with service leaks and line breaks caused by caused by Hurricane Ida, and they're working on cleaning that up. There's still some small leaks out there that residents are just now finding. And when we read the meters again, we'll probably find some more leaks, especially with the smart meters that we have can show the continuous usage and detect a leak. Over in wastewater, last meeting there were four lift stations on generator power. Now all lift stations are on Entergy power. There's only one station on bypass pumping. This is the Norco station, and it will remain on bypass pump while all pumps are being rebuilt. So I'm glad, and I know wastewater is glad to be out of the generator business. There's one basin is running at the Deshran plant, and they're working on a temporary repair to get the second basin back online. Really quickly, sales tax figures for both July and August. July sales tax compared to last year's July was 13.46% up, and we collected $3,056,882.38. We were up 4.5% in August from this time last year. To date, the parish sales tax collections over the first 8 months of the year are up 11.69%. I've had conversations with Grant, and Grant's had conversations with our sales tax collector, who do believe that we will see a dip in the month of September, being that pretty much everything was down. But I think they're looking at next year that the sales tax should kind of bump back up as the recovery efforts is ongoing. Debris collection, to date, the parish has picked up, through its contractor, 830,000 cubic yards. That's kind of a roundabout number. It could be about 835. We'll see what today's numbers come in at. But now that we are kind of really focusing on the C&D debris, we've learned that the C&D debris is a little bit slower of a process collecting that. So that number where we were originally probably at 25,000 cubic yards a day has kind of dropped to about 15,000, 18,000 cubic yards a day as that debris is takes a little longer to pick up each pile. Let's see. We still have about 63 to 65 trucks working, and we asked our residents to continue to separate piles if they're just starting to put out debris to separate those piles. At this time, I'm just going to go ahead and ask Tom Baker with DRC to come up and expound on anything that I've said.
So what we're seeing now is we're starting to finalize some areas, and really what I'm seeing out there and what I'm hearing from my crews is that we only have a few areas that have really heavy volume left. So we've got trucks working in Destran and New Sarpy. They think they have about 10 days worth of volume there. The Paul Frederick Kindler area, we think we have 3 or 4 days working in there. The area of Smith to Oak in Hanville still has heavy volume in there, so we're focusing on that area as well. Ashton area probably has 3 or 4 days. That's a lot of C&D debris because that's a newer area. And then Norco also has about 5 days. We don't think that, obviously we're here till the end of it, but the heavy volume, we think that will be collected within the next 10 to 12 days. At some point, we're going to need to sit down and talk about do we want to reduce the number of trucks so that they can still be efficient. I'll be in conversations with Public Works and with Matt to determine what the right number is. But we do think that around Halloween we should be able to significantly lower the number, and then we'll be more of a cleanup job and just going after specific piles that are coming out after we go through. So we do expect a lot of C&D volume to continue to come out as people get their checks and start to demo some homes. We're already seeing that in a lot of areas as well. But we were able to open up a C&D DMS site on the East Bank, and that was through a donation by the folks at Shell, and that's greatly helped us on the East Bank with the collection of C&D debris. Right now, we're averaging probably 80% of our collected volume on any given day is going to be construction debris. So, as Matt mentioned, that does slow us down. We're working on plans for large stump removal. Those have to be handled separately and just require a little bit different equipment. And then we're also starting to focus on white goods. A lot of those seem to disappear from the right away because of scrap collectors going around getting them. But anything that's left, we'll come along and get that. So we realize this is still going to be a long-term process, but I think that we're probably 80% on volume right now, and it's that last 20% that comes out kind of slowly over the next 20 or 30 days. So with that, I'll answer any questions, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, Ms. Gordon.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Tom, I want to thank you and even from the many residents that have reached out to me within these past 2 weeks on the work that your drivers are doing. So they wanted me to make sure that I pass on to you, just to give you thanks. But one thing what we also want to let the residents know is that if it's a narrow street, and if you have cars on the road, the trucks will not pass. So make sure that you let your residents know that to at least have a clear street during the daytime, because we never know what area that the trucks are going to pick up on. So if they're going in your neighborhood and we may not know, at least the trucks will be able to pass because many of us work, so we may not be able to reach out to many of the residents, but residents do make sure that your cars are clear from the road.
Yep, and in a couple of instances, you've called and we've set up and you've been able to communicate with the residents and say, hey, the trucks are going to be in there, and that seemed to work out well. But we're seeing a lot of contractor vehicles, which is typical. But typically, they're going to move when they see the truck coming. It's coming down the road pretty slowly, and people are working with us to let us pass through and continue our operations.
Ms. Fisher?
Mr. Fisher.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Fisher.
Boy, it's been a rough day. Thank you, Madam Chair. It's okay. Tom, thank you for everything you're doing. I appreciate it. You've taken care of a lot of numerous stuff. You and I have spoke about the problem areas and the spot areas. We just need to concentrate on that. Sure. Just get people cleaned up, get it out their way. Just like we said, we've started again. That Destrehan, New Sarpy area, you and I both looked at some of the pickup maps and that, and you've committed to getting some of that stuff done. Like Ms. Gordon said, some of the Norco area has been the same, so I have been passing that message out, asking people not to park. So, thank you for the deal with Shell. That's awesome. That has definitely sped up a lot of that stuff. But I know you had some issues, and I appreciate you handling them with some of the crews. I think we all heard a couple of the horror stories and stuff, but I appreciate you and Christy taking care of that, and John. Asking you just please concentrate on the spots that you have. Your maps are really spot on.
Yep.
Everything you provide is awesome. So if you got your crews working, I think we can get through this. And I think, like President Jules said earlier, we'll be all trick-or-treating for Halloween and clean streets. So
that'd be nice.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tom, because I know I have those small streets in Bar None that you would have to back your trucks down. And when I called you a couple of times about some streets that had probably been missed, you sent some guys over there, so thank you so much. Thank you. That's it.
Okay, I'll continue. Thank you, Madam Chair. And Tom, thank you. We appreciate it. I know as I ride around the parish, you really do see a difference in the amount of debris that's been picked up. And, we originally estimated 1 million yards, and then when everybody started gutting their homes, we were thinking it's close to 2 million. It looks like it's probably going to be closer to that 1 million yards, thankfully, because that means a lot more people aren't gutting their homes. But as Tom said, a lot of people will wait to start gutting their home when they get their insurance check. So we know that as this insurance process, which our residents have definitely indicated has been slow and tedious, we should probably see some folks starting to gut, continuously gutting homes. And those guys will be here to make sure that gets picked up quickly. Some more good news. Regular trash pickup will resume on Monday, October 25th. Mm-hmm. So twice a week, trash pickup will start again on October 25th. Roddy with Pelican has indicated to me that that's when they believe they will be able to resume. They have been also helping get the black bags off the street. So now that there's a sufficient number of those black bags off the street, they should be able to get back to it. So more good news. FEMA updates, direct housing assistance. I'm going to keep encouraging residents, and I ask our council members if they get any of these questions as well, to encourage residents to apply through both the FEMA and the state for direct sheltering. So to apply for the state sheltering, they need to go to idashelteringla.com. That's idashelteringla.com. If they do not have internet at the moment, they need to call 844-268-0301. Again, 844-268-0301. And we do have this information on the website as well as on Facebook. If they need to apply through FEMA, they need to go through disasterassistance.gov or call 800-621-3362. Again, that number is 800-621-3362, and that website again is disasterassistance.gov. So FEMA is still at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. That is where their permanent DRC is going to be until they are not needed anymore. So if our residents need to go and modify an application, they need to go to the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Additionally, at the community center is the Southeast Louisiana Legal Services. Southeast Louisiana Legal Services will be in the white tents at the community center next to FEMA, Monday through Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And they can help residents with FEMA disputes, DSNAP denials, contractor fraud, and more. So again, Monday through Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the same location as the DRC. Over the weekend, the burn ban that was in place since Hurricane Ida was lifted. Per parish ordinance, residents may resume burning of small debris such as branches and sticks, as long as the fuel for their fire is no taller than 5 feet high and 7 feet wide. Additionally, it must be at least 25 foot away from adjacent property lines and must be attended at all times. It should also be far enough away as to not cause any potential fire to your own structure as well. This was done in an effort to help return us to our normal parish ordinances. And I know our residents will appreciate it now that the colder weather is arriving, and they'll want to light fires in small fire pits and chimneys and such. Additionally, the sheriff has expressed on Facebook that his office will be strictly enforcing the burn ban, and that this is not an opportunity for residents to burn things like construction debris, tires, or anything else that is prohibited by state law. Next, we have a town hall. This town hall was, this event was brought to me by Senator Gary Smith. He said Louisiana Department of Insurance was doing this around the state, and when he offered it to us, I said, absolutely, we'll hop right on it. So Louisiana Department of Insurance will host 2 town hall meetings. One will be tomorrow, October 19th, and the other one will be Thursday, October 21st. Both are from 3 to 7 p.m. at the LaFawn Performing Arts Center. Residents will receive assistance in navigating claims. The town hall Q&A portion will be from 3 to 4 p.m. And then representatives from the Louisiana Department of Insurance will be on site from 4 to 7 to answer specific claim questions or issues individuals are having with their insurance. So please bring your claim to the event, bring your policy information to the event. If residents have any need to help understand their policy, the Louisiana Department of Insurance will be there for that event. All right, we are hiring. St. Charles Parish has 8 job openings: animal control officer, carpenter, distribution maintenance, equipment operator 1, equipment operator 2, grass cutter 2, and groundskeeper. To apply, visit our website at stcharlesparish.gov/employment or call our personnel office at 985-783-5000. Veterans Luncheon. We will be hosting our Veterans Luncheon this year on Thursday, November 4th. More information will be made available soon as we're looking for a location to hold it. Additionally, I do have representatives from Cox Communications here, and I'd like to welcome them up to the microphone to just give a report on the status of internet in the parish.
Good evening, Parish President Jewell, Madam Chairwoman, and members of the Council. My name is Erin Monroe Wesley, and I serve as the Vice President of Government and Public Affairs for Cox Communications. I am joined by Kevin Monroe, who is the Vice President of our New Orleans market. Kevin is also a proud resident of St. Charles Parish. I'm also joined by Christina Lagasse, who is our Manager of Government Affairs. What we would like to do today is briefly highlight our storm preparation and response protocols while updating the Council on our Ida recovery. Cox has a comprehensive business continuity plan with a formal structure in place to prepare and respond to natural and man-made disasters. We have a very experienced disaster team. We've responded to about 17 disasters or disaster threats since 2016 in our Southeast region, which includes the states of Louisiana, Florida, and Georgia. We braced ourselves for an extended recovery in St. Charles Parish due to the significant amount of power restoration work that was needed in the parish, along with repairs to our network. Our partners in power were able to restore their services to customers in the parish roughly 3 weeks after the storm's landfall. After power was restored, our crews were then able to accelerate our restoration process in St. Charles Parish. We sustained major damage to our network in St. Charles. This includes damage to our network fiber rings servicing St. Charles Parish near Destrehan and Luling. These lines were severed and were in close proximity to hundreds of downed power lines. This damage required us to completely rebuild our lines and equipment in these areas. Our crews had to reattach about 12 miles of our fiber strands, coax cable lines, and network equipment back to power poles. This work involved the splicing or repairing of hundreds of lines that are contained within fiber lines. We also had additional fiber damage in Norco and Mons that required extensive repairs. On the West Bank, our crews worked to repair about 7 miles of our coax cable infrastructure that was also damaged due to the storm. As we have navigated through our storm recovery journey, we stayed true to our best practice of maximizing our recovery efforts by completing repairs that resulted in restoring services to large amounts of customers. Our recovery ecosystem affords us the opportunity to impact hundreds of customers at a time by performing repair at the node level. Nodes are the physical devices attached to our network that service hundreds of customer homes and businesses. Now, once our major repair work is complete at that node level, we're then able to turn our attention to individual customer homes or businesses that are still experiencing an outage. We have completed over 10,000 individual line restorations to date in our greater New Orleans service area, obviously including the Parish of St. Charles. These are the lines that deliver customer signals from our neighborhood nodes to single homes or businesses. Today, we have restored services to 92% of customers on the East Bank and 93% of customers on the West Bank. We have provided proactive credits to our St. Charles customers, and we've also promoted our storm assistance plan. So if customers need to leave their homes, but they don't need to move their services to another location, the storm assistance plan will allow those customers to temporarily suspend their services. Customers are able to keep their existing Cox email and phone number for no charge up to 6 months. We certainly know that our restoration journey is not over. We continue to work as hard as possible to restore those customers who remain offline. Again, we have completed all of our major repairs, so at this stage it's about that individual customer work, working on those lines again to those homes and businesses who are still suffering an outage. I would like to close by thanking our construction field teams for their tireless service, along with the countless number of employees that really work behind the scenes to support our restoration efforts. And so that at a very high level is a snapshot of our recovery in St. Charles Parish. Certainly happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Ms. Perrier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Aaron, Kevin, and Christina for being here tonight. You know, that was great detail on the work that you all have done and the damage that was sustained. Unfortunately, it's 6 weeks after the storm. I know I did finally hear back from you guys maybe 4 weeks in after a couple of email exchanges with Christina. You know, the parish government here is the closest to the people. We are the people. These are our friends and our families. And in a catastrophic event, all we would ask for is communication. Entergy is the shining star example of how to communicate after catastrophe. They were physically in our presence as soon as they could be. They were on the phone with us. We got phone calls to our personal cell phones just so we can let the residents know, even if there wasn't an answer, let them know that they know there's damage. They're trying to figure it out, and we'll let you know as soon as we can. Sometimes they just needed that that level of comfort from us regarding their utilities and some, lines of communication as well. I hope that you guys have learned from this. I know we all have learned lots of things through this storm. Hurricane Ida taught us a whole lot of things. I do hope that you guys maybe have learned from some of this as to how you might be able to communicate with the locals. I know, you're not regulated by the Public Service Commission, and we really don't have to communicate. But I would say that a very large percentage of our 22,000 households in St. Charles Parish are Cox users and businesses as well. And it was a huge part of the recovery process for us to get back online. And just to not know when our residents would call and ask questions, for us to not have an answer, even if that answer would have been, we're not sure, but they're checking on it, it would have been better than nothing. So I do hope that that'll change. If we ever have this happen to us again, I pray to God that we never do. But, and I just, again, thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate the info and the detail on what's been done.
I just want to thank you for that feedback as well. We're working right now through our postmortem effort to identify those lessons learned from the storm, and that certainly is a lesson learned in terms of communication with the council. I'll say that Kevin Monroe, who's with me as well, I know he was having a lot of direct contact with the parish president, but that would excuse the council members, right? And so we'll learn from that and improve that if we're, hopefully not able to suffer from another storm, but if that does occur, we'll improve upon that.
We're going to go to Mr. Dufresne.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can we go over how you guys are people? I got numerous emails, and I forwarded some to a couple of y'all about people who are very aggravated and frustrated that they were still billed when they had no service for over a month in time. And then you guys said, well, when it gets back up and running, we're going to pay, give you credit for it. A lot of them feel that it's handcuffing them to have to keep your service. So I'm just going to be blunt. If you go ride to the Bayou Gauche area, you'll see a lot of your Cox stuff out in people's yards because they are very frustrated. Their service hardly ever worked out there to start off with, and now this made it even worse. But I've gotten a couple emails from people, then they want, can you give us hey, this is the steps of how we're going to give people credit. And they were charged late fees if they didn't pay. That's not good. That's not good at all. So can we have an explanation of that, please?
Yeah, we have found some instances in terms of late fees being charged on bills. We've reversed all of those charges. And so if that has not happened to your constituents, please let us know. I can open up that individual account. In terms of credits, all the credits are being proactively applied to accounts. And so there may be a billing cycle where they've received their bill, but the credit has not been applied. That next cycle, that'll be a catch-up bill, and those credits will be applied to that bill. And so if they're not seeing that information, certainly share that with our team, and we'll be happy to reverse those charges.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you all once again for coming in to give us the update. But I've had a couple residents that have stated that they actually have cable, but not internet. So, and I know you said it's at 93%, so how do we handle that? Or because they're stating that in that particular area, that the outages, that everything has been cleared, but they're still out of one of the two.
So we're sending trucks out to individual homes to address those outages. So it could be that issue. They have one product working, but not another. And so if you'll share, again, that information with us, we'll make sure to address that and look into that individual home or business issue.
Okay.
Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I wanted to just thank Kevin Monroe. He has been communicating with me on various issues throughout the parish, and whenever I would give out updates, whether it's through social media or whatnot, Kevin was helping me get those updates out to the public, which I think was helpful. I do agree with some of my council members up here that Cox Communications should have been putting out as much of that type of information as they could, because I believe if you tell the residents that you have to rebuild 10 miles of infrastructure, that they're understanding in the end. The same way they were understanding when Entergy said, hey, we have to rebuild all of Highway 90 before we can turn on the power, and that's why your power might not be turned on until kind of towards the end. So I would encourage in the future, but Kevin, if you want to come up real quick and talk, I know we talked about hardening some of y'all's utilities, but I do want to say thank you, because when Ms. Shirley Sims was standing up here and she said, I don't know who Matt Jewell talked to about getting our internet turned on, this is the guy I talked to. And I used him very rarely to help us get things like internet back going to our critical infrastructure like our waterworks and our EOC and obviously our battered women's shelter. So I want to say thank you for that. But if you want to talk real quick, you are a Destrehan resident, and if you want to talk about just some of the things that y'all are looking at in the system to improve upon so that the outage may not be as widespread in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you. Madam Chairwoman, President Jewell, council members, thank you for allowing us to be here in front of you today. I apologize, I'm a bit hoarse today. As President Jewell mentioned, as we rebuild and establish our infrastructure, one of the things that we're looking at doing is doing after-action reviews. So we're looking at trying to understand what failed within our system from a network perspective, and then build back stronger, harden the network. We want to make sure that we're still putting in fiber services. We want to make sure that we're still building underground where reasonable to do so. And these are the types of different things that we are looking at doing that are going to allow us to have better services throughout the community, throughout the St. Charles Parish going forward. Any questions?
Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we all echoed the same thing. Y'all have a major credibility problem with the residents of St. Charles Parish. This is a step to starting, getting it fixed, your hardening of it. But I'm going to tell you, 22,000 people, 22,000 households basically lost faith in Cox. I think you have a long, long road ahead of y'all. So I echo what everybody talked about, communications. I think you ought to spend efforts and time talking to each one of your St. Charles Parish customers. And I think we need to start seeing a lot more of you guys in St. Charles Parish. Every time I turn the TV or had the TV on, Christine was standing by Cynthia Lee Chang, you in Jefferson Parish, and here we have this thing. So y'all have a big credibility problem with the residents of St. Charles Parish, and I just hope that you can fix it.
Thank you for that feedback. We will make every effort to do so.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.
Ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication, public hearing Monday, November 1st, 2021, 6 p.m., Council Chambers Courthouse in Hornville. Items number 2021-0266. Ordinances introduced for publication, public hearing Tuesday, November 9th, 2021, 9 a.m., Wednesday, November 10th, 2021, 1 p.m., and Monday, November 15th, 2021, 6 p.m., Council Chambers, Courthouse, Hornville. 2021-0159, an ordinance to approve and adopt the appropriation of funds for the St. Charles Parish Consolidated Operating and Capital Budget for fiscal year 2022. Ordinances scheduled for public hearing, introduced at previous meeting. Item number 2021-0223, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Richard C. Lambert Consultants, LLC, RCLC, to perform engineering services for Barber Road Bank Stabilization, project number P210702, not to exceed $243,028. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This project was brought before the council earlier, and then we had Hurricane Ida, so we're bringing it back at this time. St. Charles Parish desires to reinforce portions of the canal embankment adjacent to Barber Road due to the canal bank failure, which is jeopardizing the integrity of Barber Road. The project bank will provide bank stabilization by installing sheet piles along the south side of Barber Road from Wisner Street to South Street. The administration desires to hire a consultant to provide the professional services required to complete the design of this project. As part of this contract, the consultant will perform a topographic survey of the roadway and canal to establish the bank configuration and alignment. They will also perform a geotechnical investigation that will identify the soil characteristics, which will be used to determine the depth and size of the sheet piles. Once the field data has been collected and evaluated, The consultant will prepare plans and specifications for the stabilization of the bank adjacent to Barber Road. The first step in the design process will include a conceptual design plan which will be used to identify potential conflicts with the proposed improvements. Once plans are completed, the consultant will assist the parish in bidding the project. Construction administration and resident inspection services will not be included in the contract at this time, but may be added through amendment at a later date. The Public Works Department therefore recommends approval of this ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a professional services agreement with Richard C. Lambert Consultants for Barber Road Bank Stabilization Project, Parish Project Number 210702, and requests council support of this ordinance.
File number 2021-0223 is now open for public hearing. If there is anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Any council discussion? Mr. Dufresne.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is in my district. This road has a lot of buses that run along it. They service J.B. Martin and R.J. Vial. This road has been failing for quite some time. You could see every drainage culvert that runs across it that goes to the canal. There's huge dips. The road is sloughing off on the side of the canal. This is the first. I'm glad to see this. This should have been done years ago. It shouldn't have got this bad. Now we have it down to one lane just for safety purposes with some barricades. This road was included, I think, in when we were going to do the road maintenance, but it was taken out because it needed this bank stabilization. This is the first email I sent as an elected official was to Public Works about this road, about this problem. So I'm glad to see it's finally coming up. It needs to be done. It could be a huge disaster if a bus falls in. It's not a really wide road. They don't have a lot of room to navigate to go around each other. So I greatly appreciate your support on this project.
Any more council discussion? Please cast your votes for file number 2021-0223. And that passes unanimously. File number 2021-0224, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of change order number 1, final, for Parish Project number P190502, Scheck Snyder Pump Station Improvements, to increase the contract amount by $43,529.73 and increase the contract time by 88 days. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. St. Charles Parish awarded the project for this project, Scheck Snyder Pump Station, to Fleming Construction Company on August 10th, 2020. Ordinance number 20-8-10. The construction cost was set at $654,016. The project involved removing a 30-inch CFS pump and replacing it with a 48-inch CFS pump. The design was started in late 2019 and completed in mid-2020. The design engineer is Evans Graves. During the construction of the project, several additional items were identified as being necessary to complete the improvements. The following items with cost were added to the contract: a custom-length drive shaft with torsional coupling, $3,070; a discharge bell, $16,325.88. The discharge bell diffuses the water as it comes out of the pipe to make it less damaging to the environment. A PTO and drive shaft modifications, $8,654. And an extended bypass pumping, $45,479.85. The extended bypass pumping was needed to affect a change in a support structure. The total additional items is $73,529.73. Contract item number 10, relocation of infrastructure, was not used, which resulted in a deduct of $30,000 from the project total. The final total increase in the project cost is $43,529.73, which results in the final project total cost being $697,545.73. The contract time was increased by 88 days. The increase included 28 days for the fabrication and installation of the custom-length drive shaft, 1 day for the installation of the discharge bell, 8 days for the fabrication and installation of the modified PTO and drive shaft, and 51 days for the extended bypass pumping to repair a deteriorated pipe support beam. The Public Works Department therefore recommends approval of this ordinance to approve and accept change order number 1, final, in the amount of $43,529.73, with an increase in contract days of 88 days for the Sex Snyder Pump Station improvements, project number P190501, and request council support of this ordinance.
File number 2021-0224 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0224. And that passes with Mr. Dufresne voting nay.
Thank you very much.
2021-0232, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with WSP USA, Inc. to perform engineering services for Oxidation Pond Highway 3127, project number S190902, not to exceed $192,000. Mr. DeGeneres.
Yes, ma'am. This project is a result based on the sewer master plan. It was determined on the West Bank that we were really reaching our maximum capacity at the plants on the West Bank. So it's determined that we really need to increase capacity if we want to look to any future development. We're almost at that critical stage. So this is to look at a piece of property on the south side of 3127 to put a pond system treatment plant there, and also look at wetland assimilation to do that as well. So this is to do preliminary work on that, come up with preliminary design to move to a final design in the future, if we can move forward. The big issue is whether we could do wetland assimilation. If not, it's going to probably increase that cost of that project another $3 million to run a pipeline all the way to the river. So that's one thing this preliminary work is being done for.
File number 2021-0232 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Cluley.
I just have a quick question. Is this going to be built similar to the Cousins Oxidation Pond?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Will it be about the same size, or will it be bigger?
No, it won't be the same size. It's probably we're going to design it for 2 million gallons a day, and then with the ability to expand to 4 million is the potential plan.
All right, thank you.
Please cast your votes for file number 2021-0232. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0233, an ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of an active sale by Dana, D-A-N-A, A. Fricky, through designated listing firm GL Realty Group, LLC, with designated agent Brandy D. Nicholas, for certain property located at 15090 River Road in Hornville for the Hornville Branch Library in the amount of $625,000. Ms. Benedict.
Good evening. I'm here on behalf of the Library Board of Control. At our July meeting, the Library Board voted to approve the purchase of this property, so we are bringing it to you and requesting your approval. The library has been looking at options to improve the facility that services the Hornville Hornville and Kelowna communities, which is through our Hornville branch. If you've been to that branch, you know that it is in desperate need of some improvement. It is the only branch in the parish that has not had any major work done to it in the past 20 years. So we have looked at several options, including renovating at the existing property as well as a couple of other properties, and we feel that this is hands down the best option. It stays within this kind of government complex, which we think is a great location. It's very centrally located. It is a nice 5.5-acre piece of property, which gives us room for growth within the parish and some needs that we have for administration as well. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. File number 2021-0233 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Seeing none, any council discussion? Ms. Fonseca?
Public hearing is closed.
Public hearing is now closed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm ex officio member of the library board, although I was not at the July meeting due to medical reasons. But previous to that, we did do a feasibility study on the existing location, and the issue was simply space, and it wasn't an issue that could be overcome in the location that it's at. We did look at several other properties, and with the help of the architect that did the feasibility study, and it was determined that the majority of those properties did not offer more space or much more space than the existing location. So this particular property is ideal. It has an abundance of space, more than what the library probably needs. And just for public knowledge, Hornville is the county seat, and there is a state law requiring that Hornville does have a library in the county seat. So I think this will make a really nice addition to our county seat. Thank you.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Leanne, the property currently has a home on it, so it's going to be
That building would be taken down. Okay. So actually, I've been in contact with the owners of the property because they did sustain a little bit of damage from the storm. We told them we're not worried about them repairing the house. They have committed that they're going to remove all the downed trees from the property before we would close on it. But yes, we would be taking that property down, and we've walked the property, and it simply is not reusable for our purposes.
Okay. I'm a little bit on the fence right now because I've been to the meetings as well, and I know the study has been done, and it's been done to, to everything has been covered. What I'm on the fence on is that since we've had the storm, what the plans is to have the house torn down. Mm-hmm. And I know this contract was done before the storm. So has there been any contact with the seller on maybe decreasing the cost of the land and of the property?
No, the only thing we talked about with decreasing was that if they did not want to remove the trees and have to deal with that we would have asked for. But we did have an appraisal done on the property, and the purchase price is less than the appraisal that was done on the property.
And if I may, Councilwoman Gordon, the appraisal was conducted as a demo.
Okay,
So it took that into consideration, the building would be demolition.
okay.
Seeing no more council discussion, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0233. And that passes with Ms. Gordon voting nay. Item number 2021-0252, an ordinance to suspend the enforcement of the preliminary digital flood insurance map elevation requirements for non-repetitive loss properties for a period of 12 months from the passage of this ordinance for structures damaged or destroyed by Hurricane Ida. Additional data has been placed at your seats. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This ordinance temporarily suspends the additional elevation requirement known as the D-firm, which is used to determine base flood elevation requirements for existing homes and structures damaged as a result of Hurricane Ida. According to FEMA regulations, when the cost to repair structures for any reason exceeds 50% of their value, they must be elevated to the current BFE. The D-firm establishes a BFE that is, on average, 2 to 6 feet higher than the federally effective flood map for St. Charles Parish. The D-firm's purpose was to gradually elevate home construction to higher levels in expectation of an eventual increase in the effective rate maps. But because of the damage done by Hurricane Ida, this rule would immediately affect a large number of homes during the recovery process. Enforcing the D-firm as is would cause many homes to be demolished rather than repaired. Additionally, existing neighborhood drainage would be potentially affected by the large influx of fill that they were not designed for. The pause on enforcement would not apply to new construction, nor to homes that have been identified as repetitive lost properties. This ordinance is a mechanism to ensure residents are able to return to their homes in a timely manner and that they are not priced out of the recovery process. Earl's with me tonight to answer specific questions related to FEMA and how this applies, but we'd appreciate your support. Thank you.
File number 2021-0252 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Any council discussion? Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Earl, could you step up a minute, please? I got a couple of questions.
Sir.
Since you and I have been this round for the last 10 years on D-firm and variances with ZBA and that. So
Yes.
I'm just going to ask the question. In their infinite wisdom, they ever changed their whole mind, their strategy, and of course now we're risk ranking 2, we fighting and all of that. Are we putting anybody in harm's way, having raising their insurance rates by doing this?
We don't think so, okay? And the reason I'm not just saying flat out no is because of risk rating 2.0. I can't tell you what it's going to be any longer. It's not the simple black and white where I used to be able to say if you build at this height, it's going to be this much, and if you build here, it's going to be at this much, because the largest determining factor from risk rating seems to be how far you are from water, and we really can't change that. We don't know what those numbers are going to be. So, but we are advising every single person who is rebuilding, or we're still advising them the same way that, hey guys, we anticipate the map's going to require this area to be at 6 in the future. So if your house is coming all the way down, you need to go up to 6. But you know, if you're just repairing your house and you've been in that house for 30 years and that house has never flooded before, it's really hard for me to tell a person that you're going to have to lift that house. No, your FEMA insurance is not going to help you because it wasn't flood damage, it was wind. but you're still gonna have to come up with $100,000 to lift that house. I have a hard time justifying telling anyone that, although, a couple of people have been in a rush and insist they push forward, so I've written a few letters already telling them they have to lift their homes. Now, what it's gonna boil down to, as you referred to earlier with the ZBA, is that if I write 100 letters, I'm going to have 98 people at the Zoning Board of Adjustment asking for that variance back down to the effective rate, which is what they're paying flood insurance on anyway. So it's kind of trying to avoid a little bit of that rush and the stigma of having to get a variance on a house that's already been standing. So,
Thank you, Al.
Ms. Perrier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the variance process would still be available even if we didn't pass this. This is just going to fast track it. And this does not apply to new construction, correct?
it does not apply to new construction. Those will still have to meet the preliminary DFIRM regulations. And like Michael referred to earlier, it doesn't refer to anyone who is a repetitive loss house.
Right.
Because, again, in good conscience, if you flooded more than once and now your house is damaged more than half of its value, you really need to address the issues with that house.
Sure. You should build to, required elevation at that point,
Or
if not higher.
maybe even higher.
Yeah.
And we are talking to people about those things.
Okay.
But yeah, the variance process would still be available to anybody.
Sure.
This would keep us from, honestly, it cuts the work down on us too, because instead of having to go and figure out if these houses are at elevation or figure out if they've had half a damage, we can, if we know you're already built to the required elevation, which has been so since 1992, we can dismiss it and say that's already at elevation. So we can concentrate on those that actually need help.
So how do we communicate this with the residents when they come to you? What do they get? Because I know a lot of times our process is a little confusing for, Joe homeowner, and this one is overwhelming for everybody. So how do we communicate if they come to you and you say, okay, you're actually below where you're supposed to be, you need to build higher, but?
Well, so far, what we've been doing is that anyone who's anywhere close is being referred to either myself or Danielle Honor.
Okay.
And we're sitting down with folks and just going through that number.
Okay.
And as distasteful as it is, we simply have to write them a letter saying they're required to do it. If not, it's going to put our program in jeopardy and therefore everybody's flood insurance in jeopardy. And we're not going to do that.
Sure. So they're going to get that letter. So how are we letting them know that this is in place now, other than this meeting here?
Like I said, we are talking to them as they're coming in. We've got people in the field talking to, literally going house to house.
Right now, we're catching them through the permitting process.
Yeah,
So,
today.
If someone comes in and they need not only a roofing permit, but there is actual renovation work that needs to be permitted, we get to identify contract value in the permits. So we kind of know, or at least we get a flag and we can send it in for referral, which is what Earl was talking about. As far as the properties, they're on the damage assessment. We're working that down. We have about 700 still that we're evaluating. They're in question.
Wow.
Okay. Not saying that all of those are damaged, but those are the ones that don't have an answer yet. But I mean, we started at over about 7,000.
That's what I was going to say. If this doesn't pass tonight, that list is 7,300 long.
Yeah.
If it does pass tonight, it's about 702. So
Okay.
that's kind of the scale
Okay.
of difference we're talking about.
Well, I appreciate it. I know this is a big help for those that are struggling to try to put the pieces back together, and
And we're
helps
doing our
with
best.
with manpower too.
Yeah.
That helps a little.
And just to reassure you, I've discussed it both with our FEMA rep that we work with all year and the state floodplain management office.
Yeah.
They know we're considering this.
Yeah.
And their answer was both, we think you're going to have to.
Did we ever do this before for a flood? Maybe
We never have.
we haven't done it. Okay.
It's
Other places have suspended free board rules
Yeah.
in a similar manner, or
Sure.
withdrawn them.
Okay.
And look, it doesn't, unless you get a major event like this, it doesn't happen often.
Correct.
I mean, I've only probably written 24 of these letters in my entire time here.
Correct.
So,
if we pass this tonight through ordinance, would it be beneficial for you guys if maybe public information took this ordinance and explained it to the public a little bit somehow through one of our channels.
We should work with them to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and they're not gonna, look, nobody's gonna speak your language, so we're gonna let y'all say it if they do that. Okay,
Well, we kind of were waiting to see what was going to
What's
happen
coming up.
tonight as to how we were going to approach it. So.
got it. Thank y'all.
Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I just want to reiterate again that anyone who comes to, whose house is substantially damaged to the point where they have to rebuild it, is going to be encouraged to build it to the current flood elevation.
Yes.
Excluding the ones who have repetitive loss or for some other reason just have to come up to the BFE, whereas in good conscience, we couldn't tell them to rebuild at the same level. Those folks will be told to come up to the BFE. But at the end of the day, a lot of these folks have lost their homes, and their insurance is not going to pay them the extra 30 to 50 or even more to lift their home on top of their actual rebuilding. So that was really the impetus for this whole ordinance. So I just wanted to reiterate that.
Please cast your votes for file number 2021-0252. And that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Resolutions. Item number 2021-0257, a resolution to approve and authorize the execution of a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Louisiana Department of Treasury and the State of Louisiana and St. Charles Parish regarding the allocation of $950,000 to be utilized for infrastructure improvements and parks. Ms. Chesson.
Good evening. So as part of Act 119 of the 2021 regular legislative session, the parish was allocated $950,000 in state funds to be used on infrastructure improvements and parks. So I've worked with the Office of State Treasury to draft the attached funding agreement, and your approval is required. So we are going to be splitting the $950,000 up between infrastructure improvements, specifically drainage, and parks, $600,000 towards the drainage project and $350,000 towards the park. For the $600,000, we have two projects that it's going to go on, either the Dunleaf Bottleneck Project or the AMA Pump Station. And the $350,000 is going to be the restroom building at Ashton Park. These funds have a sunset date of June 30th, 2022. So what we're doing is we're applying it to projects that are eligible, and so we can get those funds back to the parish before they sunset. That's it. Thank you.
File number 2021-0257 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item. Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Any council discussion? The $350,000 only goes to Ashton? Nowhere else?
That would be a comment for Mr.
That's a project that is ready to go right now. It's around $350,000. So this money is just going to be used to that. The money that is in that project currently will just be redistributed to other projects. So it's all fungible.
Ms. Fonseca.
Madam Chair, one of the important things that I think Ms. Chasson was trying to say when the grants office gets grants that have deadlines that aren't very far in the future, you have to choose projects that are shovel-ready to have any chance of completing them and getting reimbursement before the deadline. So I think what they've arranged with this funding is probably the most expedient way to use that money, and it frees up the other budgeted funds to be used for other purposes. Thank you.
You want to speak? Ms. Perrier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know if we know this offhand, but we do have some money in the budget for this Ashton Park. Do we have any idea how much we already have? So we have the exact same amount. So that $350 that's budgeted for Ashton will go back to disperse wherever And it's basically replacing what's there. And it's shovel-ready because I've been asking for it for 9 years.
For how long?
9 years.
Just in time.
Please cast your votes for file number 2021-0257. And that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
File number 2021-0258, a resolution to approve and authorize the execution of a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Louisiana Department of Treasury and the State of Louisiana and St. Charles Parish regarding the allocation of $750,000 to be utilized for the Judge Edward Dufresne Parkway extension. Ms. Chasson.
So as part of the same act, the parish is allocated $750,000 for the extension of the Judge Edward Dufresne Parkway project. We are going to apply these funds towards the surveying, geotechnical testing, and engineering. Let me know if you have any questions for this one. And the same rules apply to this, that the funds do sunset on June 30th, 2022. So we are moving that along, and you guys recently approved the engineering agreement. So.
File number 2021-0258 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote on file number 2021-0258. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0259, a resolution to approve and authorize the execution of a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Louisiana Department of Treasury and the State of Louisiana and St. Charles Parish regarding the allocation of $1 million to be utilized for drainage improvements. Ms. Chasson.
So this is part of Act 120 of the 2021 regular legislative session, but it's another allocation to St. Charles Parish for drainage improvements, and so we are going to do the opposite of what we do for the $950,000 with either the Dunleith Bottleneck or AMA Pump Station. Either one can go towards either of these funds. The funds came to us very generally just saying drainage improvements in St. Charles Parish, so we're going to use one of those projects that are ready to go.
File number 2021-0259 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item. Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0259. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0260, a resolution requesting the U.S. Postal Service change the zip code for the town of Muntz, Louisiana from 70068 to 70079, the existing zip code of Narco, Louisiana. Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This came at a critical time. This is something that we've been working on, I guess, about the last 6 months, Michelle and I. And it's a lot of things. When I first got elected, people were asking about the 70068 designation to Laplace. It really came to light with this disaster. People registering for FEMA with the 70068 zip code were being denied because, one, St. John didn't authorize a full mandatory evacuation. St. John partial. So it's been something that's been a claw, I guess, as you want to say, to the residents of Muntz. As we started going through this, Michelle and I and her staff, there's a lot of things that people don't realize. People in Muntz pay 2% more for car insurance than the rest of the state average. St. Charles Parish is 1% up. So that's some really good facts Michelle dug out of it. Homeowners insurance, because of the fact that Muntz has a 70068 zip code, it actually pays higher homeowners insurances. So that 2% car insurance averages about $284 a vehicle. And I'm going to ask Grant this one, and a lot of people have told me about this, and it's happened to me a couple of times. When sales tax revenue, when we make major purchases, like if I go buy a new car in Metairie, and I just give them 7068, and they tell me I have St. John sales tax, the sales tax that they collect, does that come to St. Charles Parish, or does it go to St. John?
I believe it comes to us, but I'm not sure because I don't
Yeah,
see
so
that.
that's
I just see
another
the
way
acronym.
to say on a part of that. We couldn't confirm or deny that, because nobody wants to say they're screwing up paying taxes.
Well, yeah.
All right? So,
In theory, it should, but
it is, it's a very shady thing, and we can't say it does happen, doesn't happen, but the feasibility of the FEMA assistance, the things people had to go through, the census, basically Muntz has a current rate growth of about 0%, so we're not going to look to put a post office there. They've tried to do that in past. It's just not going to happen. So basically, what we figured with Michael's help in that, we've had about another 193 residents that could be added to Muntz. So basically, the Postal Service has a whole system on how to change the postcode, zip code boundaries. Basically moving it back into the 7079 with Norco would put us in St. Charles Parish. We wouldn't lose the designation of the community of Muntz. It would be the same thing. So the first part and the first step is to have a resolution of support from this council and the support of the residents to change this to 70079. So that's what I'm here tonight to ask for you guys' support. We've already had some discussions with some of our representatives in Washington. Past President Jewell talked to Senator Graves. We are going to send all of this resolution to all of those. I've had conversations with each one of their staffers, and I'm also asking for our state legislatures, representatives, and senators' support. So I would really appreciate you guys support this. This would help the residents of Muntz not feel like they're not in St. Charles Parish. So, does anybody got any questions? I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Now. Okay. Go ahead.
I just want to thank Councilman Fisher for doing this. I know the residents of Muntz greatly appreciate it, and look forward to helping any way I can with our congressional counterparts in Washington, as this it's a common sense solution, and it should just be an administrative fix. But I'm hoping that there's not a lot of Washington bureaucracy in front of it. Thanks.
File number 2021-0260 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item. Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0260. And that passes unanimously. File appointments, file number 2021-0226, a resolution to appoint a member to the Industrial Development Board. Council Chairman will accept nominations to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Ricky Bosco, 6-year term to begin immediately and expire October 1st, 2027. Need a nomination? Mr. Fisher?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Ricky Bosco for another 6-year term, please.
I have a motion by Ms. Perrier and a second by Mr. Dufresne.
Close nominations.
Please cast your votes to close the nominations. And that passes unanimously. File number 2021-0227, a resolution to appoint a member to the Industrial Board of Development. Council Chairman will accept nominations to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Robert Colon Jr., 6-year term to begin immediately and expire October 1st, 2027. I need a nomination. Mr. Fisher?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Coulon, another 6-year term, please.
Mr. Coulon. A motion and a second is needed to close the nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Fonska and a second by Ms. Billings to close the nominations. Please cast your votes to close. And that passes unanimously. File number 2021-0228, a resolution to appoint a member to the Industrial Board Development Board. Council Chairman will accept nominations to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Corey Fauché, 6-year term to begin immediately and expire October 1st, 2027. Mr. Fisher?
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Mr. Corey Fauché for another 6-year term.
A motion and a second is needed, and I have Ms. Perrier and a second by Ms. Billings. To close the nominations, please cast your votes to close the nomination. And that passes unanimously. Announcement. Item number 2021-0262, a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 2 representative. On Monday, November 1st, 2021, Council Chairman will accept nominations from the District 2 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration term of Mr. Randy Love. 4-year term to begin December 7th, 2021 and expire December 7th, 2025. 2021-0263, a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 4 representative. On Monday, November 1st, Council Chairman will accept nominations from District 4 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Robert Price, 4-year term to begin December 7th, 21 to expire December 7th, 25. Mr. Price has served 2 consecutive terms, and cannot be reappointed. Item number 2021-0264, a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 5 representative. On Monday, November 1st, as Council Chairman will accept nominations from District 5 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Ms. Lori E. Brown, 4-year term to begin December 7th and expire December 7th, 2025. Item number 2021-0265, a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Board of Adjustment as the District 6 representative. On Monday, November 1st, Council Chairman will accept nominations from the District 6 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Ms. Katina Summers, 4-year term to begin December 7th, 21 and expire December 7th, 25. Meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Meetings, Board of Adjustment ZBA, Thursday, October 21st, 21, 7 p.m. Council Chambers. Housing Authority, Tuesday, October 26, 6 p.m. Council Chambers. Hospital Service District Number 1, Wednesday, October 27th, 2 p.m. Council Chambers. St. Charles Parish Council, Monday, November 1st, 6 p.m. Council Chambers. Announcements. Governor Edwards has rescheduled the October 9th, 2021 Parish Proposition and State Constitutional Amendment election to November 13, 2021 due to statewide state of emergency caused by Hurricane Ida per Executive Order Number 2021 JEB 13. Important dates for the November 13, 2021 election. Saturday, October 23rd, last day to register to vote online at govote.com. Tuesday, November 9th, last day to request absentee by mail ballots. Early voting, Saturday, October 30th, Monday, November 1st, Saturday, November 6th, through Saturday, November 6th. 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. West Bank Courthouse, 15045. 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. West Bank Courthouse, 15045 River Road, Hornville. East Bank Auterbury Building, 14564 River Road, New Sarpy. Friday, November 12th, last day to register to receive voted absentee ballot. Saturday, November 13th, Election Day, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. St. Charles Parish has the following temporary polling location changes for the November 13, 2021 election. Precincts 1-2 and 1-2A from Hornville Learning Center, 626 Pine Street in Hornville, to Yule J. Landry Senior Middle School, 108 Tiger Circle, Hornville. Precinct 2-3 from the Bible Center Church, 422 Barton Avenue in Luling, to Mimosa Park Elementary School, 222 Birch Street in Luling. Precinct 3-3, Destrehan High School, number 1, Wildcat Drive, Destrehan, to Ethel Scheffner Elementary School, 140 Plantation Road in Destrehan. Precincts 4-1 and 4-1A, St. Gertrude Education Center, 17336, LA 631, Des Allemands, to Allemands Elementary School, 1471 WPA Road, Des Allemands. Precinct 6-1, Muntz Community Center, 152 Union Lane in Muntz, to Zephyrin L. Perilou Firehouse, 17830 River Road, Muntz. Precinct 6-4, Union Hall, 601 Good Hope Street in Narco, to Narco Elementary School, 102 5th Street in Narco. And Precinct 6-8, Destrehan High School, number 1 Wildcat Drive, Destrehan, to Ethel Scheffner Elementary School, 140 Plantation Road in Destrehan. Revised public hearing dates to consider the proposed 2022 capital and consolidated operating budget. Tuesday, November 9th, 2021, 9 a.m. Council Chambers. Wednesday, November 10th, 1 p.m. Council Chambers. And Monday, November 15th at 6 p.m. Council Chambers. Adjournment. A motion and a second is needed to adjourn. I have a motion by Ms. Gordon and a second by Mr. Fisher. Please cast your votes to adjourn. And that passes unanimously. Have a great evening, and we are officially adjourned.
Beginning in June, St. Charles Parish will see a redesigned water bill. We have made some improvements to ensure reading your bill is easy and clear. A box at the top has been added to clearly show the amount due date, and what amount would be due should you pay your bill late. Below that, we have outlined your account history to reflect your previous charges, most recent payment, and total account balance. We have also outlined all the ways to pay your bill, which include in person, pay by phone, or online at www.stcharlesparish-la.gov/waterbill. The consumption chart has been moved to the top left of the bill and has been updated to show consumption history in gallons. Lastly, we continue to outline your itemized charges in a chart illustrating all services, including water, sewerage fees, garbage fee, safe drinking fee, and any other related charges. The Department of Waterworks staff remains committed to assisting residents and can be contacted at 985-783-5110 if you have any questions regarding your bill.